Hello YouTube, my name is Nick, and it's that time of year again. End of the year, beginning of the year list stuff. I know this is a little late, and I do have some excuses, but I've kind of just been lazy. This year has also been the year for catastrophic computer failure. I've gone through 3 different phases of complete computer destruction to where they just didn't work at all. So I couldn't really make videos in a reasonable amount of time. It didn't take like 5 hours to upload off of my phone, which is what I use to record this, by the way. But after I got my computer stuff taken care of, I started working a lot. I screwed up my hand, I broke my ring finger, almost broke my pinky, and still kind of messed up. So I was a big baby about that. Didn't want to make videos after that. So now I'm about there, and it's end of the year list stuff. So today I'm going to be doing some honorable mentions. All of these could have made it onto the list, but for one reason or another didn't. It took me a long time, and I have a bunch of CDs and vinyl over here of my actual list. But yeah, for one reason or another, they didn't make it, but they were dang close. So these are in no particular order. Hopefully, maybe you'll find some stuff that you didn't know about, because this year I kind of went all out. I bought probably 400 albums this year, maybe about half that came out this year. Big stuff, small guys, independent, bunch of different labels, whatever. And here we go. First one, this was one of my most anticipated albums for a really long time, and I still like it a lot. This is Polemic by Contrarian, released on Willowtip. This is essentially like a later era Death Worship with the guy from Gomagot doing vocals, which is awesome. So it's pretty much like old school progressive death metal with some hints of brutal death metal. But the only reason this didn't make it on my list was because this is pretty much a death metal supergroup, and there's guys from Sarpanitum, which I did a review for. I think George Callias did the drums. There's a couple different other people that I don't remember off the top of my head, but I feel like their respective bands put too much influence into this, and it doesn't sound entirely original, if that makes sense. But maybe next album they'll pick it up a little bit. Plus this was kind of short for my taste, just a little over like 30 minutes, 35 minutes. But yeah, that's Polemic by Contrarian. I'm also doing this in one take because I'm tired of doing like 100 takes because I'm a perfectionist. So I hope you don't mind my slip-ups or my lapses in judgment or what I say, whatever. Next one, this was also a very important album this year. This was very close. If it was on my list, it'd probably be like 26 or 27. This is Bring Forth Death by Seraphim Travail, signed by the band. This is like a symphonic death metal, black metal album. Very strong on the symphonics, but it doesn't get to where you can't hear everything else. It's not super over-the-top orchestral symphonic crap. You can still get those awesome, like, catchy guitar riffs, and you can hear the drums still, and of course you can hear the drums, but it has great vocals. The only thing that I have a complaint about this is that sometimes the symphonics sound a little too faux or not convincing enough for me. Like, I understand that it's keyboards and not everyone can get like an actual orchestra to do it like Flesh God, but yeah, this is their full-length debut, so I guarantee their next album is going to be 100,000 times better, even though this was still amazing. I love this album. This is Bring Forth Death by Seraphim Travail. Next album, some people will probably love or hate, and I really like it. This is Heavy Over the Home by Sanzu. This is kind of like a contemporary death metal with a little teeny tiny bit of hardcore or deathcore influences, mostly with the vocals and some of the guitar riffs. But this is like one of the most gorgeous digipacks I've ever seen. It's that delicious like matte paper, like recycled feeling, and the colors look great. But great death metal. Nothing too stand out, I guess, but everything's well put together. They just need to find their own like clique or niche, because it's so well rounded that it's kind of hard to pick out things that they're really good at, because the vocals are really unique, the guitars and drums and bass are all great, but nothing is like right in your face to where you can pick that out and say this is why they're awesome. So if that was some insight I could give to the band, that'd be it. Maybe just like try to find your own thing, even though it is really good. So that was Heavy Over the Home by Sanzu. This is one that I'm not a huge fan of the genre, but once in a while I'll find an album that I'll really love. This is the sophomore, I believe, from Voices of Ruin, called Born from the Dark. Great artwork. The guitars on this album are out of control. They are fast as crap, they're dexterous as crap. This is a pretty lengthy, relative album. A lot of the songs are pretty long, especially on their first album too. The songs are pretty long. Great vocals, retardedly fast guitars, great rhythmic drums that keep everything flowing smooth and nice, and just a great album, man. This is some strong melodic death metal. I don't remember from where, but yeah, check these guys out if you're into really fast, really catchy and memorable melodic death metal. It's Voices of Ruins with Born from the Dark. Alright, now if I was to make like a top 30 or something list instead of top 25 like I'm doing this year, this would be number 26. That was barely beaten out by other stuff. This is The Child Must Die by Nihilisten Barbarosus. This is a very strange album, to say the least. It's kind of like a ambient, atmospheric black metal album. Great art on the disc, by the way. I have a shirt of that. It's really fast. It's not very long considering the genre, because a ton of these bands just blow out the songs just to kind of make them epic on their own merits from the length. But every song on here, there isn't a song over 7 minutes, but every song on here has so much content and is so memorable, and the keyboards, the guitars, the programmed drums sound great. It's catchy, it's memorable, decent artwork, and this was a very hard one for me not to put on the list because I really enjoy this album. It got pretty good reviews on Metal Archives too, if I remember. So definitely check these guys out. I think they have an album before this. I don't remember what it's called, but this is, let's see if we can read this. Nihilisten Barbarosus, The Child Must Die. So check those guys out. This is another one that could have been on my list, and I fully expected it to, because this one kind of blew my pants off the first time I heard it, and this is going to be very hard to see. So, this is Night, self-titled debut. This is a black metal band from France, and there are so many genre influences in this album that there are almost more nuances than there are actual black metal content. It's okay. The album starts out with a rap passage. It's like there's so much bravado and like just like tough guy attitude in this album. There's a full-time violinist that plays for the album. The vocals are great. They're really powerful and strong. There's like hardcore influences on this. There's like sometimes some depressive, suicidal black metal stuff on this, mostly from the vocals and the guitar patterns. But this was very strange. I have a feeling these guys are going to become really popular eventually, because this album ruled, and I don't think it got as much attention as it should. So definitely check out Night, self-titled debut. Pretty cool artwork. Alright, this one was pretty cool too. Definitely surpassed my expectations. This is Brute Force Lobotomy, yeah, by Serial Butcher. From the artwork, you can kind of tell what it is. It's brutal death metal, but it is not regular brutal death metal. The songs are so well written, the guitars are so fast and catchy, and the drums are so powerful, and not all the drums sound like a trash can lid, even though I love that, because slam's my favorite genre, probably. But this is just like a really, really well-written, solid brutal death metal album, released by Unique Leader, which pretty much puts out all good stuff. So if you like higher tier brutal death metal, check out Serial Butcher with Brute Force Lobotomy. This next one is another delicious digipack. This is Above the Unworthy by Demiurgeon. Kind of old school influence death metal with some newer contemporary songwriting decisions. Really unique and old school sounding vocals, killer guitars, great drums. They never get super boring, because some of these old school death metal worship bands can sometimes get a little monotonous with the drums, I think. But this is another one that really easily could have been on my list, because I've been listening to this for a long time, and this never gets old. It's not very long, so you can listen to it over and over and over again without it getting boring. But just every song on here is good. There isn't a bad song on this, so definitely check this out. Above the Unworthy by Demiurgeon. See if we can get that on there. Alright. This is one that, if it was a full-length album, it would be on the list, but this is actually an EP. This is In Oblivion, self-titled EP, I think, yeah. This is like super ultra heavy funeral doom, death doom, whatever you want to call it. The vocals on this will crush your soul. It's like one tier below Daniel Dross from Ahab, and the guitars on this are so stupid heavy. The drums never get boring, because sometimes, you know, funeral doom will have those like just really monotonous 1 BPM drums that, like, there's no point in that. In my opinion, I think the days of funeral doom having just like one note every 30 seconds is phasing out, and stuff like this is going to be the future, especially with like Ahab and Lycus and Bell Witch and all those guys. But yeah, this is some super heavy stuff. It's 2 songs, and it's about a half hour long. So if you like funeral doom and you like it really heavy and the vocals really deep and powerful, check out In Oblivion's self-titled EP. This one I probably should have put on the list, but I actually just got it like 2 days ago, and this one blew my pants off. This is Rotting Away by Meth Witch. This is some of the nastiest, ugliest, stinkiest, dingiest death metal, hardcore, grindcore albums that you'll find this year. I mean, just look at that artwork. It just exemplifies how disgusting this is. The CD's not even in it, it's in my car, sorry. But, I mean, come on. It's a one-man band. Some of the most convincing programmed drums I've ever heard, too. The vocals are so disgusting. Like, I don't even know what to compare it to. It's mostly death metal, I guess, and it's not really deathcore, but there are hardcore influences on the death metal. It's kind of hard to explain. These guys are going to blow up, 100% guaranteed, even though it's one guy. So, check out Rotting Away by Meth Witch. Amazing, amazing album. And the last one on the stack for today is one that is a huge sleeper, in my opinion, that everyone missed. This is Rejected by Angel, Betrayed by Demon by Without Dreams. This album, oh, look at that artwork though. I'm a huge artwork fan, and I just love that artwork. This album is somewhere in between like atmospheric black metal, funeral doom, drone, ambient, somewhere in between there. It's two songs and it's about an hour long. And my god, this is like some sleepy, delicious, gorgeous, heavy, long, drawn out, gorgeous music. It's one man, I think it's from Russia, released by Endless Winter, which I think also did the Oblivion. I could be wrong with that. Sometimes there's no instruments other than the keyboards being playing for extended periods of time, and it's just gorgeous. It's super heavy, the vocals are great, the drums are great. I mean, just come on, man. I wish more people would have saw this, because this definitely could have been on the list too. This actually was on the list for a long time. I just moved it out before I did this. So check out Rejected by Angel, Betrayed by Demon by Without Dreams. So that's going to be the end of my honorable mentions. Hopefully you found some cool stuff. Hope you don't mind the more laid back, relaxed, kind of casual scum kind of video, because I hate doing like 100 takes that I used to do, because it made it unfun to make videos. So I hope you enjoyed this list. Expect my top 25 maybe tomorrow, maybe today, who knows. But that's the end of this video. I'll see you next time.